Hello, welcome to the Week in Review. I am Mudumbuj, sitting in for Adedarami. As usual, we discuss 10 headline stories of the week. But here, we try to peer behind the headlines to look at the details to see where the devil, if any, is lurking. Today, some of the stories we have for you. Techifi, a EU-sponsored youth program, has come to an end. But how has the government proposed to keep the program going? And also the National Assembly members went on a retreat during the week, a budget retreat, budget analysis retreat, as it were, to improve their capacity for oversight, budget oversight. And also during the week, there was an exhibition of newspapers and magazines in this country. One would be surprised to learn that we've had newspapers as far back as 1871. We'll go to some of the stories. And also MAJAC, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communications, held its first graduation. These are some of the stories we have for you and more. And to help me today to sink our teeth, as it were, into some of these stories is the strong jawed Mr. Suleiman Dabo, my colleague, making his maiden appearance on this program.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Boj, for having me here. Yes.
You're welcome. I wish you an interesting initiation. Now to our stories.
Yes.
The first story we have for you today is the ACE Impact Workshop. The Gambia is hosting currently the 8th Africa Centers of Excellence for Development Impact. Let's just take a look at this clip.
The theme for this workshop is innovation and entrepreneurship. Through the ACE Impact project, Gambia is set to establish a center of excellence to be called the University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, USET. In July this year, President Adama Barrow laid the foundation stone for the construction of USET in Birkama.
The ongoing PhD training and mentorship of Gambians, which is part of the project, is a step in the right direction. Among other things, it ensures sustainability of the much desired administrative and leadership roles that USET has to fulfill.
That's it, Mr. Dabo.
Yeah.
And the theme for the workshop is innovation and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, we are hosting something really very important.
It is.
Across the continent, you've got 53 centers of excellence.
Yeah.
So brilliant idea.
Brilliant, excellent idea. Excellent idea. I guess, as we were saying in the introduction, what is behind it, though? That's the most significant part of it. This ceremony is official, but then after that, what happens? And one can draw the conclusion that it is not always, or they don't always end up as they were planned. We've seen a lot of institutions built in this country, especially in the area of academics. But then after graduation, that's where sometimes I do have issues with some people. And that is the way we perceive education to be. Acquiring knowledge is very significant, but then your understanding of that knowledge and the application of that knowledge is equally so significant. So to me, this is excellent. Students that are going to graduate from here in applied sciences, we expect them to be the innovators, to be out there in the field, not sitting in an office to expect things to happen, but to be there in the field to apply the knowledge that they've learned. I think to me is the most important news out of this.
That's it. So, but you've mentioned, sort of suggested, hinted at the fact that with implementation, there's so many shortcomings in that area, in that domain. But don't you think that the fact that it is transnational?
Yes.
Isn't it? Really?
That could be another advantage.
11 countries.
Yeah, yes.
That's it. So in fact, this time we had 11 ministers of higher education who have come over. So perhaps that transnational element will put extra pressure for us really to implement. We've already laid the foundation stone for what we call the university.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have 11 countries, for example, we'll say students will be coming into the Gambia to acquire this knowledge here. Then it becomes kind of a competition amongst the 11 countries. So there you can expect that this would bring some positive results. for students that are going to go through the university and who are going to come out as graduates. The different countries, because a graduate from the Gambia and a graduate from, for example, Sierra Leone, depending on what they do, you would be able to gauge where efficiency lies. So yes, absolutely, you are right. The 11 countries coming to it is an excellent thing. But again, going back to the point made earlier, application is very, very, very important. So this is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the focus, the specializations in
There you
STEM,
go. Correct.
this is science,
Yes.
technology, engineering,
Correct.
mathematics,
Yes.
agriculture.
Yeah.
Here they've got health, environment, education.
Yeah.
These are the
These
areas
are
of
very
us-
key areas that any country would need to develop, especially a country like ours. So because these are the disciplines that are responsible for quick economic growth. If you really want to see real and swift economic growth, you have to have excellence in these areas, because these are the ones that are in control of economies around the world.
Absolutely, especially when you consider that in Africa, really,
Yeah.
less than 25% of African students really go into STEM.
It's unfortunate.
The figure must
Yeah.
go up.
Yeah.
But these programs, this one sponsored by the World Bank Group and the French Development Agency, yes, they're working with the Association of African Universities. Don't you get worried sometimes? One of the stories we're going to come to later on, the donors. It cannot go on forever.
Yeah.
So what happens is
Yes.
that continuity.
Yeah.
This is the
and
worry.
the worry
isn't it?
most of the time about donors is their power of influence. Mostly you end up doing what they want, not what you want. But I guess the way I'm seeing it now, I think African leaders, you cannot say they have graduated from that, but I think they've come to realize that it is important to have partnerships, but partnerships based on mutual interest and benefits. So I think the World Bank and the French that are sponsoring this program, I am hoping that they are aware of the importance of having mutual relationships and mutual interest. The donor thing, the sustainability of that sponsorship is another problem. I was listening to the Minister of Finance when he laid the budget, the 2023 budget, before members of the National Assembly. And this is so significant, an area that will always come up, and it came up. We cannot continue to rely on donor support. Interestingly, 2022, the donor support for the budget for that year, last year, or this year, 2022, has not all materialized, leaving a big hole in the budget. So that's the danger of relying too much on donor support, because when they fail, and they can fail like they failed in 2022 because of unforeseen circumstances around the world, I would think because of the coronavirus and the Russian war, they are unable to sustain themselves to the point of helping other people. So they fell short of what they promised. This is the danger. So African people, African governments, African leaders must start to be self-reliant, to spend so much money in the productive base of our economies to be able to get away from this strangulation of foreign donors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you look at our situation, when I look at the project objectives, or we have so much to do, it talks about development impact.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether we've got that yet.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, innovation, we're
We
trying,
still-
gender initiative,
Yeah.
digital transformation, and institutional impact.
Yeah.
So in all of these areas, we have a long way to go. And
Yeah.
even the center of excellence isn't here yet.
Absolutely.
It's
no,
here
no,
yet.
no,
So
no.
quite
It is
interesting,
quite
yeah.
interesting. It is quite interesting. And I don't know if you will be able to, looking at Gambia, years ago, say for example during the First Republic, coming to early 1990s, and what is happening right now, would you say we are making gains in terms of innovation, looking at what is happening right now?
Perhaps one can say that in pockets.
In pockets.
Yeah, there are areas,
Yeah.
in certain pockets, in certain areas, there are improvements. Perhaps what we are saying is that cumulatively, what has it come to?
Yeah.
As it were,
Yes.
maybe. What has it come to?
Yeah.
As it were,
Yes.
maybe that is
Yes.
what the issue is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much there, Mr. Dabo.
Sure.
All right. Now we move on to our next story. Take a fee. Fulfilling yourself here. That's how I will I will translate this one. It's a program, EU-sponsored program, and it has come to an end, really. So what would the government do to keep the program going? Let's take a look at this clip.
In a country where one of its biggest economic challenges is its youth demography, the Techifi Make It Here program started in 2019 to change the youth demography into an opportunity instead of an economic burden. The Techifi program was implemented by the International Trade Center, Germany's GIZ, Portugal's IMVF, and Belgium's Annabelle, with funding from the European Union Trust Fund. The objective of the program was to support the government to boost economic development.
That's it. Mr. Dabo, we are told that the project has over the years, I think it's been here since 2019, has over the years created jobs for 9,000
young people.
Young people, and then 7,000 trained, in one vocation or another, and the small businesses. Quite interesting there.
Yeah, quite interesting, especially, if you put this against the plague of our young people leaving this country, going outside the country looking for what they call greener pastures. This is an area that actually, I think this is excellent. It's an excellent thought in itself to say take a fee, meaning, like you said, make it possible here. A lot of young people have the perception that they can only make it in life if they travel outside of the Gambia. Growing up as a young person, I nearly fell for it, but I'm lucky not to fall for it. That doesn't mean I didn't travel outside of this country. I spent 14 years of my life outside of this country. So, but my point is, wherever you find yourself as a young person, try to have that personal initiative, personal urge, personal push to achieve excellence. It doesn't have to be excellence in academia. It doesn't have to be excellence in professional areas like, for example, accountancy, business management, economics, lawyer, becoming a lawyer, or being a politician. No, learn a trade. It doesn't matter what kind of trade that is. Just learn a trade and believe in yourself that where you live, you can make it happen. Trust yourself and have that confidence in you and push yourself. I am telling you out of experience, I think it will work out for you. The problem we have is that as a society, we have allowed ourselves to just restrict ourselves and our thinkings to the idea that you have to sit in an office before you can take it. That is wrong to me. That's how I read it. You can always make it here if you can push yourself. Again, one could argue that, but the environment might not be too conducive to do that. Correct. We agree. The environment may not be too suitable to do that. But when you try to push yourself and people are pushing those who should make the environment suitable for it, one day they will come to a collision and it will happen.
Yes, so this is the thing. In a sense, they are like victims of societal attitudes.
Correct.
They've already stigmatized vocational training and the like.
Exactly.
So maybe to rectify that, perhaps we should go back to the schools. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So you just can't wait perhaps until they finish secondary school and then you start talking about Tibet or these vocational stuff. That should have begun, isn't it, from the high school.
Exactly.
And then they begin to identify their strengths,
Correct.
as it were, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, and like you said, understanding the fact that going into carpentry, for example, going into welding, for example, are noble areas, are areas that one can excel and do very well. But like you said, these ideas must be inculcated in us at a very early age. And I think that's the problem we have as a society right now. We only look low upon them, and so anybody who is in there is like, no, he won't be able to make it here. No, that's wrong. That is very, very wrong. If you look at that video and you compare it to what is happening around the world, you've traveled, you've seen a lot of play. Those that are into those areas are the ones who are making it. So I would advise young people to go into trades like that. But again, it's a psychological thing in us as a society we need to fight against.
Yes, and also one can wonder here, with these programs, one wonders how much it is contributing to changing these young people's minds about Europe and staying. One wonders how much it will sort of stem the tide of everybody wanting to go.
Wanting to go,
I imagine that it must have some effect if we have enough of them.
Yes.
Many programs, it might have some effect.
Exactly. On
this urge to go.
I was listening to a politician a couple of days ago, and he was asked whether his party will allow women to contest for leadership in their party. And his answer was, if the women are ready, then they can be leaders. They can become leaders because they form the majority. If you look at the population of the Gambia, it's mostly young people, youth. So if they want to achieve something, they should be able to achieve it because there are too many. But the desire to make it must come from them, young people themselves, and try to push it, and push those who are in authority to achieve what they want to achieve.
Absolutely. And when you look at our unemployment rate, youth unemployment rate, about 15%.
Yes.
It's very high.
It's very, very high. It's scary.
Really, such programs are important for them to acquire skills and go and get and work. So this is it. The government says it will introduce the Gambia National Employment Policy and Action Plan 2022-2026. To keep the objectives alive
of this program.
What do you think about that?
Yes, it's always, unless there is a policy, you wouldn't be able to monitor and hold people accountable. Either that's the government or individuals who are going to benefit from this. So it is good to have that policy and action plan. I guess the next question then becomes, how do we gauge and how do we hold people accountable in achieving the objectives of this Take-It-Fee program? This is, and to me, it's a very important program. And if we can follow up on progress, that is significant. I think that will allow us to say whether actually the program is achieving its objectives or failing down the line. And whatever is responsible for that failure, can we correct it? So yes, I think it's a good idea to have the Gambia National Employment Policy. It might be too late, but they say better late than never. But it's important to have an employment policy program. Yeah.
Thank you very much there, Mr. Suleiman Dabo. Now to our next story. Gambia participates, a civil society organization during the week, organized a 3-day retreat for the National Assembly members. Let's just take a look at this clip.
By virtue of the mandate of the National Assembly, they have 14 days to review the budget, make amendments, and approve the budget. And as a result of that, if you look at our 6 legislators, we have a composition of 60% parliamentarians that are new. And the expectations are high, but I think as civil society also we need to help them through the process, and that's the reason why we're working with Parliament to organize this retreat.
That's it. That was Mar Nyang there, the head of Gambia Participates. Interesting statistic, 60% of
them are new.
They're all new, so surely timely.
They would need capacity building. Yes, just this morning, just before coming to this program, I was talking to a friend about this, about the importance of National Assembly as an institution and the role members do play in there, and how important it is for them to understand or to have that understanding. Because being a National Assembly member is like being responsible of a whole institution. So you are a leader, and you are the one who is going to manage that institution. So you need a lot of capacity building. The idea I was throwing out to him is, like I've seen in other places, a National Assembly member should have support staff in the different areas, in finance, in politics. These are people who are experts, independent of you, but they will be a staff attached to you, giving you advice, policy advice, expert advice.
But wouldn't that be a bit expensive? I
Well,
think
that's the argument that this person gave me. He said it's an excellent idea, but the money is not there, and that's understandable. So to have them do stuff like this, I think it's important, because the budget is a very important national document. So to be able to do justice to that document so that the citizens benefit from it, you need to have that understanding yourself. The person who's going to scrutinize and ask questions on behalf of the people, you need to have that understanding of the document. So I think it is important that they have this capacity training, especially knowing that 60% of them are new members. And unfortunately, Mr. Mboji, this is the reality. We are not very much politically aware in this country, and people just tend to forget, unless when it is election year, then we become all engaged in politics and discuss it. But to actually understand politics and the way it works, I think we are still, we are yet to be there.
Absolutely, but for me, I was thinking, I wonder what's the content, as it were, of the training. Because generally, when you think about budgets, especially national budgets, you've got the technical elements, don't you?
Yeah.
You need to calculate, quantify expected revenue, you need to cost your activities, and then the expenditure. That's all technical stuff.
Yeah.
But you have the political stuff, what they call budget politics. The horse trading, the trade of, surely that takes experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that was why I was thinking, I wonder what would be the content of this training as well, how much would it give? So, but the National Assembly members will have to keep on learning. It's an ongoing process.
It is an ongoing process. And they have a lot of work to do, and that the expectations are just high. I hope they understand that. But I'm going to back to your point. What they're going to learn from there, we are yet to know, but we will see. I think the debate starts next week, so we will see if they will be able to do justice to that document. But it is important for them to understand and to know that we are relying on them. You know, the citizens, the voters are relying on them to the best out of the budget. You know, again, and looking at the budget this year too, there's a significant portion that is expected to come from donors. I hope and pray that they wouldn't fail. But again, it goes back to the point of, do we have to continue to rely on donor support? I cannot understand why it's a developing country, but we need to move beyond this.
But the minister said that the focus of this budget is really where they're going to get the money from, is to concentrate on domestic mobilization.
Yeah, resource mobilization. That's how he phrased it. To concentrate on domestic resource mobilization. Meaning, for this year, 2020, for the coming year, 2023, as it stands right now, the highest revenue base right now is the tax base. Every money that is coming from taxes. So we are going to continue to tax people, and that will lead to prices getting higher, and you continue to increase the tax because there are no other sources of income for the government.
Yes, but this is where you expect the National Assembly
members
to
too. We need to shift. We need to prioritize. We can't continue to rely on taxes, because people at some point will get fed up and they will continue to complain. So we need to broaden the tax base of the economy. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darbo. Now, let's go on to our next story. The Merck Foundation Africa-Asia Luminary meets yearly, have an yearly educational conference in Dubai, UAE. Let's just take a look at this clip.
You see, we've been struggling. The Gambia, with the university, we produce lots of medical doctors, but then remember, that's just the first level. So we are finding it very challenging to get to that second level, which is the specialization.
So acute medicine has also something been a field wherein we don't have many specialists in the country. And so to be someone who can be diverse or vast in the multiple disciplines of medicine is very important.
Celebrating its 5th anniversary, Mark Foundation, established in 2017, aims to improve the health and well-being of people and advance their lives through science and technology.
That's it, the Merck Foundation.
Yeah.
That's it, they're in 70 countries around the place, and over the years they've trained, I understand, more than 30 Gambian doctors.
Really?
Yes,
Interesting. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the 5th anniversary, they said, in Dubai.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, this is it, we are really going around a similar theme.
Yeah, I think
that
it's
we're-
very, yes,
we're
very
relying so
connected.
much on,
Yes.
that's it,
Yes.
on donors,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
sponsors,
yeah,
and the like.
Yeah.
But in the end, if it trains our people,
It's good.
well, that's
That's
really
good.
nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
we can't complain about that. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. It's very connected. We're very closely connected to our fourth story, which is the Gambia hosting the 8th African Higher Centers for Excellence. But yeah, it is good to train our people. And as the participants were alluding to earlier, yes.
I think there's some of the beneficiaries
yes,
of this
yes,
program.
okay, yes. So to train our people and people who are specialized in the different areas will only help the country to develop. If you have scientists, an engineer who is specialized in mechanical engineering, somebody in another area on physics, for example. These are good things because we need every aspect, the various aspects to come together to be able to develop the country. So this is excellent. Again, young people must take advantage of the opportunities that are available out there because, they will. It's hard to believe, but you will one day become the leaders of this country. So decisions made today are very significant.
That's it, and you also hope that when they come, they join the system.
Yes.
I mean, we've been suffering from
Yeah.
brain drain.
Yes.
They will come and then go look for
Correct.
greener pastures because
Correct.
of more money.
Yeah.
So you see our economy
Yeah.
as well, perhaps
Yeah.
in some areas it doesn't pay as much as it should.
It should.
Then
Yeah.
people will
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
leave. So
Yeah.
that's also another
Yeah.
threat
Very,
to all
very,
of these
a
people.
big threat,
training.
sir. A very big threat, Mr. Boja, a very big threat. Because I have seen a lot of people who want to come back to this country, who are experts in the different areas, but just not only, it's not even, probably this will be a discussion of another day, but not only be on the area of pay, but just basic necessities to be able to effectively and efficiently do your job. We are lacking in some of those areas, and a lot of people are not ready to come. But then it begs the question also, but how much are you ready to sacrifice for your country?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a question that everybody must ask themselves. Thank you very much. Next story now. During the week, the Journalism Students Association of the university held an exhibition I think it's still going on actually. It opened on Gambian newspapers and magazines. Let's just take a look at this clip.
People don't think journalism is a yesterday, it's a day before yesterday thing in this country. We have been at it, Gambians have been at it since 1871. And right through the years, you have seen all the people who have given their lives to it, people who have made a difference to give us the laws we have, to give us the moral standard we have, the ethics we have, and to teach us exactly how we must conduct life here on in speaking to power, in maintaining everything that gives society a fair balance.
That's it. That's Nana Gray Johnson, senior lecturer at the university, the School of Journalism. Quite fascinating there. I've been to the exhibition.
Okay.
I went to the exhibition. I learned for the first time, really. First newspapers, 1871. So
interesting. I'm surprised.
You've got a pedigree, as it were,
Yeah.
in newspaper journalism.
Yeah. In this country. And it's now, looks like now, it's kind of fading away, unfortunately. We still have newspapers in the country, but we should have way more than that what we are having right now, just because we've been at this for a very long time. And newspaper journalism is the foundation of all journalists. I mean, this trade is such a humble trade. I can't say enough anytime I talk about journalism, because it's humble. It's a noble profession. So many people, if you look at that story, who have sacrificed their lives just to be able to speak truth to power. If they weren't there, where would we be today? So this is a very important, and I regret the fact that I didn't attend that exhibition.
It's still on.
I will do my best to be there, to witness and celebrate those people who have contributed to this profession. It is a noble one, and we should all celebrate it.
That's it, and which also leads somebody to the idea of the ethics of journalism.
Correct.
Isn't it? And the craft as well, because he also advised in that piece that if you really want to learn to write, first you must learn to read. So you have two elements here, don't you? The craft of it and its ethics.
And
What do you
absolutely,
say
Mr. Boj, absolutely. My first year, University of the Gambia here, law program, we were the first people there. I remember this lecturer of mine, of ours rather, telling us, you have mortgaged your lives to reading. And that's the honest truth. When you want to become a successful journalist, I don't mean to be paid to be rich in the trade, but to be successful in the trade, you must be ready to read, and read to understand, and be able to write.
You've mortgaged yourself to reading.
And right.
Fantastic point, exactly. Here we'll take a short break.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back to the Week in Review. I'm Mahmoud Mboj, sitting in for Adedarame, and I've got my colleague here, Mr. Suleiman Dabo, going through the stories with me. Now to our next story. The Media Academy for Journalism and Communications held its maiden graduation during the week. Let's just take a look at this clip.
Under the GPU School of Journalism from 2010 to 2015, the Academy has graduated 2 batches. 95% of those graduates are today manning key positions in media development and training, while others serve as editors, communication officers in government, civil society, and international organizations.
I'm sorry, that's Sang Mende, He's the head of the Majak. That's it. So, established since 2010 by the Gambia Press Union, and it's been churning out, as it were. People who now, as he said, working in the media.
My understanding from talking to different people of different news organizations, Majak is doing a good job training these journalists, even though we still have the University of the Gambia School of Journalism is still there, but Majak, they are doing an exceptionally good job. And in fact, if you talk to some people, they are proud of Majak graduates, because they think they are up to the job. So they are doing a good job. But again, just like we were talking about in the last story before the break, journalism is application. You have to be able to apply yourself, both the writing aspect of it and the speaking aspect of it. And when we say writing and speaking, we're talking about the English language here, because that's the official language that we have in this country. So you have to be able to express yourself very well, because your job is to ask questions. Your job is to write stories. So these are 2 crafts that you must be comfortable to be able to do your job effectively. So my advice to myself first and my colleagues in the media, especially young ones coming up, please develop the habit of reading. It is only going to help you. Without it, you won't be able to prosper in this trade. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, and when you look at the wider picture, for instance, when we look at the theme, the guest speaker was the Minister of Higher Education, Pierre Gomez, and the theme was shaping the Gambia's democratic future through quality journalism and effective communication.
Correct. That's it. Yeah, because the thing is, sometimes you watch, somebody could be looking at this program, my former mentor or somebody who trained me before or somebody who's just coming to date but understand this job very well, listening to me can be able to, notice some mistakes that I'm making right now. He or she might call me aside and say, I think you made 1, 2, 3 mistakes. I should be humbled. I should be ready to learn from that individual. But if you think you know it all, then we will have a problem because nobody knows it all. But we must be able to learn from one another. And I think the young ones that are coming up now must be, graduation is fantastic, but application is the most important part of it now. And if you can't fully express yourself, both in terms of writing and speaking, then you're not very suitable for this job.
Yes, the work begins here, actually. Thank you very much, Mr. Darbo. Now to our next story. During the week, the Gambia Chamber of Commerce organized an interactive forum, bringing Gambian businesses and potential business people and potential investors from Turkey. Let's take a look at this clip.
Actually, I didn't expect such a big demand in this country, and I didn't know really this country so need a lot of things, especially for our products. I see right now. That's good. I come here. We are planning to invite also people to Turkey because we just come here and they see our production, they see our products also, and after that how we can make mutual cooperation. We are thinking like that one right now, and I think very soon we will bring our team here also to start business here with local people.
That's it. What do you make of that? I mean, we can collaborate, as it were, with them in all sorts of areas. They say construction, textiles, food, agriculture, manufacturing. What do you make of it? And tech is an up-and-coming...
Oh, yes, economy. Yes, it's becoming a force to be reckoned with in the world of, in terms of development. So, Turkey is coming up. What I just heard him say is that they're just coming here, but the country is lacking a lot. I'm sure what he's talking about there is the infrastructure, electricity, good roads, good water supply system.
Even manufacturing base. There's so much. Really.
So these are basic things that business people want to be assured that it will be there. An internet facility. These are, you cannot have a modern, robust economic business plan if you don't have these basic things in place. And unfortunately, that's our reality. And so government needs to improve in these areas very, 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 very well.
Because these are the factors that will bring investors.
That's right. They will have to have assurance that these things are there, and they would be there when they bring their businesses here. It's one thing to go and look for investors to come to the country. It's another thing to be able to convince them to come, because when they come on a visit like the one we just saw, they go around and they look and they want to know what is available, what is not available. So I think government, yes, they're doing a good job of trying to invite investors to come and invest in the country, but we must start ourselves to improve in the areas that would make businesses to come and prosper.
That's it. Yeah. But GCCI as the forum bringing, the facilitator, as it were, bringing all these different parties to say what we can reap, as it were, from this interaction.
Yes. It's always good. Yes, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. You have to start it somewhere.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Darbo. Now to our next story. November 14th is World Diabetes Day. So this year, Medicare Clinic, in collaboration with the University of the Gambia, had a day-long sensitization program, and we're also giving free consultations and testing on the Banjul Ferry. Let's just take a look at this clip.
Diabetes is one of those diseases that can manifest anyhow. You know, we see the number of amputations that we are seeing in the hospital is getting many. The number of people that started with diabetes and then they later on move on to have hypertension, and that hypertension can move on to give them stroke is also many. So these are all things that we are trying to prevent here. So once we screen people here, they are tested, we counsel them on how to go about diabetes and not leaving out diet. How do they go about their diet?
That's it. Yeah. The numbers going up.
Yeah, it's growing up.
Yeah,
and I think Gambia's problem is about awareness. That's the thing. So we need to create a lot of awareness about this subject. What we eat contributes a lot to diabetes, and people are not aware. And even when you know about the causes of it or what could lead to it, when you tell somebody, they'll tell you, no man, mami, this is what we've been doing. We've been doing this for a long time and I can't stop. Whatever happens is let it happen. But life is so precious to just let it go out like that. If you can avoid it, please preserve that life. And I think that's the message that what we all need to get from this. Yes, to create that awareness and know there are certain things, yes, we still can, things have changed. The diet of yesterday is different from the diet of today. What we used to have is normal. We depend so much on import that it affects our diet, what we eat. So we need to be careful. So yeah, this is important.
Yes, I'm talking about the awareness. There was a study done in 2019-2020 Gambia Demographic and Health Survey. Mm-hmm. They asked about 4,000 men about the risk factors and the symptoms, the signs and symptoms of it. Only 7% knew of the risk factors, and only 3% knew of the signs and symptoms.
Yeah. So going back to the same point, so people don't know.
So the awareness.
Awareness is very, very important.
Awareness campaign.
It is very, very important.
And programs like these certainly contribute to that awareness.
Exactly.
And the like. Yeah. Yes, that's it. Thank you very much there, Mr. Dabo. Yes. Now to our next story. The Gambia Maritime Administration signed a memorandum of understanding on Tuesday. Let's just take a look at this clip here.
The provision of the 2 rigid hull inflatable boats and forensic equipment by the EU under the support of the West African Integrated Maritime Security SWAM program will enhance Gambia Maritime Administration's capacity to respond to maritime security threats in Gambian waters and the ECOWAS region. Illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, gun, human and drug trafficking pose challenges to maritime trade and deny Gambians the economic opportunities that our water resources have to offer. Karamo Jane, Director General of the Gambia Maritime Administration, describes maritime security as a global problem needing global cooperation.
The Gambia is willing to fight this threat, but it needs partnership support to have the necessary tools and training that take on the often sophisticated criminals that operate in our waters.
So we've got 2 inflatable boats and a forensic equipment.
Yeah.
Good.
It's good because the waters are becoming dangerous by the day. Criminals are out there looking for any opportunity that they can take advantage of. So yeah, this is important to have.
And even to protect our resources.
Yes.
Fishing, the unregulated, illegal fishing.
Yes, and all that. And we have a lot of that in this country, especially illegal fishing. That is a problem in this country. So the Maritime Administration, this is good to have tools like this because it's going to enhance their work. The problem I am seeing is that when criminals are just criminals, and anytime you are trying to find a solution to stop what they're doing, they're also finding another way of doing what they do, you know. But this will help the Gambian authorities to be able to monitor and inspect those operators on our rivers to be able to do what is right. Because it's like the managing director was saying, it's global, it's everywhere. I have seen places where people will just hold boats to vessels to ransom.
The piracy, there's been a lot of piracy.
You know, so yeah, I hope that it won't get to that point in our waters here, because that could pose a lot of threats to even our security. So it's important to start from somewhere, and this, I think, it's a good step in the right direction.
That's it, and we use them, the inflatable boats and the forensic equipment. You know, often we have a problem with maintenance, the servicing, how do you keep it long term when parts are not there, we don't make anything, you have to go and find the part. These are some of the problems.
By the time you do that, unfortunately, sometimes when they break down is when they are needed. You know, you can have them in store with you for a long time. If you're not daily on them to maintenance them, by the day you need them, there is a fault. And then you can't do what you're supposed to do. For example, if you should be going after an illegal fishing vessel, but you don't, the boats that should be quick enough to get you to that boat, to that vessel, you can't go because probably you don't even have a pump to inflate that boat. So
the management
is very, very important.
Yes.
And Mr. Boj, honestly, that is a problem we have in this country as well. We don't manage too well. Yes, if you look at some institutions here, some are very young. Basic maintenance of cleaning and just painting it and maintaining just the basic infrastructure in place is a problem. You drive around town, you look at some institutions that were built just few years ago. They look like they've been built centuries ago. That is just inexcusable. You can't. What explanation can you give to having such buildings like that? There's nothing. There's no excuse you can do except negligence. Basically, that's how I'll describe it. We are just too, we have this laissez-faire attitude that anything that belongs to everybody doesn't belong to anybody. Well, it belongs to somebody because every day you're paying taxes. That's your property. Take good care of it.
We'll see what happens this time. Thank you very much there. Now we go to our final story, the World Cup. Of course, Ghana had a morale-boosting win against Switzerland. Let's just take a look at this clip.
The Black Stars put up a brilliant show against a very solid European side. Switzerland will also be at the World Cup. Ghana's Black Stars are drawn up against Portugal, Uruguay and South Korea in Group H and face Portugal on Wednesday in their opening game. Has this morale-boosting win against Switzerland given them more confidence? There is likely to be plenty of hype, drama and excitement in Ghana's final group game against Uruguay, and even a chance to avenge the painful defeat to the South Americans in the quarterfinals at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Uruguay won on penalties following a 1-1 draw against Ghana. Luis Suarez prevented a goal-bound effort with his hands to the dismay of the Ghanaian players, fans and everyone who loves fair play. Suarez was sent off and a penalty awarded to Ghana, which star striker Asamoah Gyan blazed onto the bar and over.
Yes, who can forget that one? against Uruguay.
Yeah,
that's it. So once again, the World Cup. Even though there's so much controversy now in Qatar.
Yeah,
what do you make up the chances of the African teams
participating there?
Yes,
well, unfortunately, our neighbors Senegal, they're going to lose one of their best players, Africa's pride. I can call him like that. And that's Sadio Mane.
Certainly one of them. Absolutely.
Yes. So he's going to miss the World Cup, but we can only pray for him for a speedy recovery from his injury. Going back to the Ghana game against Switzerland, like the story highlighted, it's a morale booster, but they are in a very tough group. Uruguay. Portugal. Oh my God! Yeah, these are very strong. But I can put my hope and trust in Ghana, having watched them several times in several World Cups. They are a fighting group. they love to fight and they love to win.
Can I put you on the spot? How far would they go?
I think at least they will go beyond the first round.
Okay.
Yes, that would be my guess. I think they will go beyond the first round, and I think they can make it back. But since you're asking me how far they can go, I can make this bet that they will go beyond the first round.
Okay.
I would not make this bet against another country that I'm not going to name because I have done that so many times and they've always let me down. So I'm not going to name them, but I am not going to bet against them.
Yes, our neighbors, as you said, Senegal,
yeah,
playing against Netherlands. That's not going to be easy as well. I think it's on Monday, is it? So,
Monday, yes, yes.
Well,
Senegal, yes, I think they would still do good even without Sadio Mane because they have a very good coach, Aliou Cisse. He's an excellent coach. So I think they have a good team. Sadio is an inspiration. When he is in the team, it gives them that, like you were saying, a moral boost. You know, so it's unfortunate that he's not going to be there, but I think they're still gonna perform well, even without him.
Yes, but do you see any possibility that we can go, at least one of the African teams can go beyond the quarterfinals? I don't think we've ever gone beyond the quarterfinals in the World Cup.
Senegal...
Any possibility of reaching the semis? We've never reached a semi.
Yes, but I think they've gone beyond the quarterfinal. Yes,
we've all gone to quarter, but not beyond that, not the
semi-final. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's hope and pray the champions, African champions this year, how far they can go, because they also have the experience of going to World Cup. So being the African champions this year is going to be very crucial as they prepare for Qatar. So I think, yeah, this year I'm very hopeful that Africa will be represented by a country at least the quarterfinal stage.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about the hosts, Qatar?
Qatar,
There's been a lot of
controversy,
regarding this. Even I think was it the other day? Was it we heard Infantino calling the West hypocritical, as it were. What do you make of this?
You know, anytime I talk about a country, Qatar is called Qatar because of something. Gambia is called Gambia because of something. Two different countries, two different names have something unique to them. So to me, Qatar might be undemocratic. If you're saying the country is undemocratic, we can agree on that point. But I don't think there should be any individual, country, organization, or group to dictate to Qatar as a country what it should do on things like selling alcohol, if it is believed that they are a country that don't sell alcohol. Because the controversy there, if you look at it, is two major things: selling alcohol and the LGBT community. Okay? You have traveled around the world. You have visited countries. There are certain things that we can do freely in this country. You go to the United States, you can't do it there. No way. It doesn't matter how democratic that country is, and it is the mother of democracy in the world. But there are certain things they don't allow, and they're not going to allow anybody to do it because you are going to claim democracy. No, it's not going to happen. So I respect the Qatari government's decision to certain principles that they don't want to bend. Again, they'll also have to understand this is a whole world that is coming to there. So you need to be a little bit flexible in some areas.
Absolutely. That was going to be my next point. We're coming towards the end. That's it. The undemocratic bit, I think that's slightly irrelevant in the sense that people agreed to give them to host it.
Right.
So they knew all of that.
Correct.
So, but this is it. Inviting the whole world, you need to be tolerant in some ways.
Yes.
People have their ways. Just as you said, you've got your own ways, granted. But people have their ways as well. And you've decided to invite them.
Invite the whole people. So you need to be flexible because they're the ones who applied to become host of this. And even when they didn't apply for it, if they were chosen by FIFA and they accepted it, then they bear responsibilities, as you said, be flexible in some of the areas or some of the principles or rules or policy, whatever you want to call it, because they have invited the world to come to them.
That's it.
Yeah.
Final, who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
Let me say Senegal. I'll bet on Senegal, Mr. Mboja. Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suleiman Dawa,
Thank you,
for stimulating, really, conversation. And thank you very much, our viewers. Until next time, hopefully Adi Darami will be back next week. From Mamadou Mboj, goodbye.